Hello everyone, welcome back. Today in this video we are going to be adjusting the air fuel mixture on the 86 Squarebody. It's got a Edelbrock carburetor on it, and the idle on this thing, since I put all the intake on it and the new carburetor and all that, hasn't been perfect, as smooth as I want it to be. So I just put it on there and just kind of use my ear gauge on all of it, and just got it running enough to be able to put around in it, drive it around, enjoy it a little bit. But I'm going to grab my vacuum gauge and hook it to the intake vacuum valve on the carburetor and adjust the air fuel mixture on it. So what we're going to try to do is get the highest vacuum reading off of each of the air and fuel screws on the carburetor, and that will be optimal fuel delivery and optimization in the carburetor for the best running performance that it can offer. And that's the reason why we do that. So in this video I'm going to show exactly how to do that with the vacuum gauge and get this thing running a little better. So if you're interested in this, stay tuned. Okay, a good way, if you don't have a vacuum gauge or anything like that and you're wanting to get an engine running after you put a carburetor on it, what you can do is each of these air fuel screws here, just run them down in all the way. You don't have to crank on them real hard to close them, just till it stops. Okay, and then back each one of them out. I've heard so many ways. People say 1 turn. I've heard people say 1.5, 2, 2.5 turns. I always turn them out 2 turns each. So I'm gonna turn this one 1, 2. Come to the other one. 1, and then 2. And that's a really good starting point, because if you put a new carburetor on and haven't adjusted it yet, 9 times out of 10, if you do that and you have it all installed correctly, that engine should start up, or the fuel delivery should be correct at that point. I wouldn't say correct, but enough to get it running. And then you can get it to the point where you can put a vacuum gauge on it and then adjust it properly. And the goal here is you want to get maximum vacuum pressure from the intake port here, the intake vacuum, when on each screw. So when you adjust them, the vacuum will adjust back and forth. But once you get the vacuum to its peak level on each screw, that should be the optimal adjustment for your air fuel mixture on your carburetor, so that it optimizes the fuel correctly and you have optimal air coming in and fuel delivery. So and the first thing you want to do before you start any of this is run the vehicle. Once you've done the 2 turns out, get it running, get it up to operating temperature, because you want the engine to be at operating temperature when you do this, because you'll get the best readings, and that's when the engine runs its best, is at that temperature. So I've already done that. I drove it around and I got it to optimal temperature. So I'm going to go around. Well, first I'm going to take this cap off of that intake port there. And I'm going to use my vacuum gauge here, and I'm going to hook it up to that intake port here. Slide that on there. Okay. Let me see if I can set this gauge where we can. Well, I don't want to get the hose in the fan either. We do not want that to happen. Alright, so I will Actually, I'm going to fire it up and then I'll come back and I'll put the gauge in front of the camera and we'll do the adjusting. Turning our screws and see where it goes. So I'm going to screw it out. And the more you screw it out, the more rich it will run. And then the more that you screw the screws in, the more lean it'll run. So I'm going to, oh, sorry about that. There we go. I'm going to screw that one out. We're starting to lose vacuum there, so I'm going to tighten it back up. We've got about 21.5. There we go. I'm going to keep tightening it in. Okay, we're losing vacuum there, so I'm going to, it was at 21.5. I don't know if you guys can see that with the vibration, but that was the, there we go, the peak vacuum I got on that adjustment. So now I'm going to adjust the other one. I'm going to adjust it in and go lean and see what happens. Yeah, we're losing vacuum, so now I'm going to start adjusting it out so that we'll run a little more rich. Okay, yeah, we're starting to lose vacuum there, so I'm going to start running it in, getting it a little more lean. That's at 21.5 right there. And I can tell that it's smoothed out. So that is the optimal vacuum pressure right there, because it's the highest point you can get from each of the adjustments. Okay, and then after that's all done, don't forget, I mean, it's really that easy. If you got the vacuum gauge, just pull your vacuum gauge off, put your cap back on, or if you have something else hooked up, the vacuum hooked up to that port, plug that back in, and that's about all there is to it. And I could already tell when I started up, I could feel the shimmy in it when I would sit in it. So I'm gonna start this up real quick. Yes, this already, the idle went up a little bit. It seemed like the idle was low, but it's about right now. This thing is so much more smooth. I'm not feeling that shimmy in the steering wheel anymore. So it is really that easy. A lot of times people like to try to overcomplicate these carburetors, and it's really not rocket science. I mean, if you got the right tools, these vacuum gauges, they're cheap. I got this one, I think Harbor Freight is like 15 bucks. You can check vacuum systems. You can actually pump it. It's got the pump on it, so you can pump in, pump vacuum on a system and see if it bleeds down. It's a really handy tool, really cheap, and that's all there is to it. And like I said, the 2 turns out in the initial setting will have it running. I mean, decent enough to run down the road. You can put it around, drive to the store, whatever. But if you want to fine tune it, that's the way you do it, right there. So that's it, and I appreciate y'all watching. And if you like this content, yeah, please smack the like button for me. I'd appreciate that a bunch. And also subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm going to be doing a lot more work to this truck. Like I said in another video, I got a lot of things I want to do to this. Interior wise, there's going to be a bunch of interior work I'm going to do to this. Also suspension work, some the steering gearbox. That thing is just worn out big time. There's a lot of play in the steering wheel. It's hard to keep it on the road. But anyway, yeah, I appreciate y'all watching, and we will see you next time.